Being an alpha just like me, Eric underwent secondary differentiation into an Enigma. He hooked his finger into my collar. Voice raspy, Jay, your pheromones smell so sweet. I couldn't bear to see my bro suffer, so I reluctantly helped him through it. Later, I clutched my nape, grinding my teeth. Eric, you promised only one marking, only to have him gently take my hand, murmuring coaxingly, be good, this is truly the last time. I leapt up, basketball arcing through the air before swishing through the hoop. The crowd erupted into cheers. What a killer three-pointer. Jason's insane. My buddy Luke smirked during halftime. Showing off again. Jay? Those omegas in the stands are screaming their lungs out. I casually pushed sweat-dampened smoky blue hair off my forehead. The new color looked badass. Twirling my black earring, I feigned modesty. What can I say? For a top-tier alpha with six-pack abs and 6-foot frame, this is baseline. My damp jersey clung uncomfortably. As I started peeling it off, a veiny hand stopped mine. Jason, came the deep voice behind me. Not here. I turned to sling my arm around the newcomer. Eric, you made it. Nearby whispers crescendoed into giggles at President Johnson. The usually stern student council president softened slightly, tousling my blue locks. Came straight from the board meeting. Eric Johnson, my childhood friend of 18 years. Our families, the Carter family and the Johnson family, have been close for generations. Growing up, I trailed after him like a duckling calling big bro. While Eric became student body president, I happily coasted through college basketball. Respecting bro code, I dragged him toward the locker room. Though something felt off, his skin burned unusually hot. Empty locker room. I stripped immediately, admiring my reflection-toned legs. Defined Adonis belt, all present. With this hair and piercings, I could go viral on TikTok. Eric turned away awkwardly. President's blushing? I cornered him against the wall, standing tiptoe to match his 6 feet 4 inches frame. Come on. I know you've got 8-pack superiority. My hand crept under his shirt. Eric's grip tightened warningly. Jason, stop. His resistance only fueled me. I nuzzled his neck like an overgrown puppy, drunk on his cedarwood scent. His breathing hitched. Suddenly, I froze. His body temperature was spiking, pupils dilating. Shit. His secondary gender was acting up again. Just because we're both alphas. What's the big deal if I touch you a little? Before I could finish, my wrists got pinned against the wall. Jason Carter's grip was ironclad, leaving me no room to break free. Jay, rein in your pheromones, he rasped, his agitated breath scalding my exposed neck. Only then did I notice the intoxicating iris scent permeating the air. Must have leaked out after the intense basketball game. As I tried shoving Eric away to grab suppressants, his abnormal state registered, his skin burned like fever, breaths ragged. Sniffing the air, I detected his cedarwood pheromones mingling with my floral notes. Your rut cycle's hitting? I finally connected the dots. He didn't answer. You smell sweet. Eric's gravelly voice vibrated against my ear. Want to take a bite? What the hell? Goosebumps erupted as I thrashed. Eric, let go. I'll get your suppressors. Sharp pain pierced my neck. Eric had sunk his teeth into my scent gland, flooding my system with aggressive pheromones. My vision blurred to black. I awoke to antiseptic sterility. School infirmary. Neck throbbing. Memories crashed back. Me, a full-blooded alpha, getting pinned and marked by my own childhood friend. Spotting the culprit nearby, I yanked Eric's collar. Eric, you're really desperate. Huh? Trying to mark your own bro. The door creaked open. A lab-coated doctor scanned our tussle with amusement. Keep provoking him, kid, and he might bite again. Your buddy here's an Enigma now. My grip slackened. Enigma? The mythical fourth gender that can mark even alphas? Rare cases where high-tier alphas secondary present as Enigmas post-adulthood, he confirmed. His transformation periods kicking in, and your pheromone compatibility's off the charts. Passing out post-markings normal with Enigma potency. He nodded approvingly at Eric. Your ahem friend's restraints impressive. Carried you here instead of finishing what he started. Campus alarms only triggered when his pheromones hit critical levels. What about his health? pressed. The doctor grimaced. Standard suppressors don't work on Enigmas. Unmanaged transformation period causes physical damage. Given your compatibility, he trailed off meaningfully. Spit it out. You help stabilize him through a sly smile, marking, holding, any pheromone exchange methods. My jaw dropped. Eric's gaze turned molten. Since you two are such close buddies, this should be easy to handle, right? Huh? You call this close buddies? The school nurse left casually, leaving me utterly confused. Eric sat by the hospital bed with conflicted emotions, lost in thought. After a long silence, he reached over to tuck my blanket and asked softly, "Jay, does it hurt?" I could see the guilt and concern in his eyes. Well, I wanted to stay angry, but couldn't. After all, this was my childhood friend who'd been by my side for over a decade. I patted Eric's shoulder, forcing a light tone. Relax. It wasn't intentional. Just a bite. I'm tougher than I look. Taking a deep breath, I blurted out, "Look, given our history, I have to take responsibility. I'll help stabilize you during your differentiation period." Eric suddenly gripped my wrist, his gaze intense. "Jason, stabilizing an Enigma isn't that simple." His calloused hand moved to my nape, thumb brushing the fresh bite mark. "If we do this too often," his voice roughened, "your physiology will start adapting. You'll crave my pheromones, become dependent, eventually turning into my personal omega. Permanently." Those dark eyes pinned me like trapped prey. My back prickled with unease. "Haha, that's exaggerated, right? We'll just limit the bites?" Eric finally smiled faintly while ruffling my hair, though his tone carried bitterness. "Jay, you really don't understand anything." News of Eric's Enigma differentiation spread across H University within days. After class, Luke cornered me excitedly. "Holy shit, EJ actually became an Enigma?" I grunted disinterestedly. "That's insane. Wait, why so cold? You guys fighting?" Luke studied me. "You usually light up whenever Eric's mentioned." Annoyed, I yanked my hood up and scrolled through my phone. Mind your business. Luke wasn't wrong. Eric and I hadn't spoken since leaving the hospital. What pissed me off? I'd swallowed my alpha pride to offer stabilization. Yet he dismissed me with that "you don't understand" crap. What's there to understand? That he'd rather suffer than accept help from his lifelong friend? Planning to find some sweet omega instead? My pheromones surged dangerously as anger spiked, standing abruptly to replace my scent patches. I found my path blocked by a scrawny, bespectacled alpha. "Oh look, finally ditched your freak?" I vaguely recognized him, Aaron, the student council candidate who lost to Eric last election. "Who are you calling a freak?" I snapped. "Eric, obviously." Aaron sneered. "Marking alphas? Disgusting. Enigmas are genetic abominations." My face darkened instantly as I grabbed him by the collar. "Care to repeat that? Freak." Aaron didn't back down, spewing more venom. "Eric's a goddamn freaking." His words died when my fist connected with his face. I barely registered Aaron's screams about his shattered glasses. My pheromones raged out of control, primal instincts overriding reason. Luke and others tried restraining me, but I kept pummeling Aaron into the floor until the crowd suddenly parted. Warm arms engulfed me from behind. "Jay, I'm here." Eric's cedarwood scent enveloped us like velvet. "Shoo, it's okay." His embrace drained the last of my strength. In the locked infirmary, Eric wordlessly cleaned the gash on my knuckles, probably from Aaron's glasses. I stared at the floor, dreading his frosty disapproval. He always turned arctic whenever I got into fights. Why? His neutral tone made me flinch. When I refused to answer, Eric gripped my chin, forcing me to meet those unfathomable dark eyes. "Jason, speak." Frustration boiled over. Why did I care more about defending his honor than he did? Slapping his hand away, I snapped. "He called you a monster. What was I supposed to do? Since when do you care anyway? You said I never understand anything." My chest heaved with ragged breaths until Eric suddenly pulled me into a hug, his face buried in my shoulder. "Just like when we were kids. Damn him for knowing this always disarms me. Please." His voice cracked. "Stop protecting me. I can't keep drowning in this delusion." Delusion? Before I could ask, his arms tightened around my waist. Jay, what am I to you? Lots of things. I started counting fingers. Best friend, brother, family. I regret everything. Eric's bitter laugh cut me off. His trembling fingers hooked my collar. Rough voice raw with emotion. I said, I regret this. Jason, your pheromones are too sweet. I want a bite. His eyes darkened with an emotion I couldn't decipher. A sudden fear gripped me, making me want to flee. Then I remembered. It had been days since Eric first marked me. Without proper inhibitors for an Enigma's differentiation phase, he must have been suffering all this time. Eric waited silently for my response. Fine. I've always been soft-hearted when it comes to brothers in need. Gritting my teeth, I tugged at my collar. All right, but bite gently. When Eric pinned me against the wall, I hesitated. The overwhelming scent of fir trees engulfed me like an inescapable net, stealing my breath. My pulse raced inexplicably, cheeks burning. Was this due to high pheromone compatibility? Lost in thought, I barely noticed Eric's dissatisfaction. He slid my collar aside, voice gravel low. Jason, focus. The suppressant patch ripped off my nape released a burst of iris fragrance, tangling violently with the fur aroma. Panic surged as I urged, Eric, hurry up. Sharp pain pierced my neck before I finished. Tears sprang to my eyes. Damn, this hurts worse than the first marking. I struggled instinctively, but Eric's iron grip immobilized me. The fur scent turned savage, drowning my senses until I nearly lost consciousness in this suffocating forest. When it finally ended, my legs buckled. Eric caught me swiftly, his arm locking around my waist as he chuckled near my ear. Jason, who knew an alpha could have such a soft waist? In the school restroom, I splashed icy water on my face. Useless. The mirror reflected my flushed skin from cheeks to neck. Mentally cursing Eric, I seethed. Just mark me without the creepy comments. Your whole family's weak. That icy demeanor was all an act. Holy shit. Did you fight Eric? Luke's booming voice startled me. His eyes bulged at my scent-soaked state. Why reek of Eric? What's with the bite mark? Clutching me dramatically, he wailed. I've been searching everywhere since Eric took you. Jason, I was too late. Since when do fights involve biting? I clamped a hand over his mouth. Keep it down. We didn't fight. We made up. Luke wore an I told you so smirk. See? He scoffed. You two fight like some on-again off-again couple, always making up within 3 days. I guiltily tugged my collar higher to conceal the hickey. Oblivious as ever, Luke immediately switched topics, shoving his phone in my face. High school reunion tomorrow night at our old KTV spot. You coming? Before I could answer, he added with a conspiratorial grin. Heard Ethan's gonna be there. My breath hitched. Ethan, the omega I'd crushed on throughout high school. Back when hormones raged and scent glands fascinated us all, he'd been my desk neighbor. His pheromones smelled like citrusy sunshine, and before I knew it, I was scribbling love notes during algebra. When he'd blushed and said yes to dating, I sprinted home to tell Eric. My brother figure listened quietly before musing my hair with that unreadable look. That's great, Jay. Next morning, Ethan avoided eye contact. We're not right for each other, Jason. Just like that, my first romance died. I got drunk on Eric's couch, sobbing about eternal bachelorhood. Love was for suckers, bromance ruled. Now I texted Eric about the reunion, adding, Ethan's coming. Awkward. Puppy panic. GIF. As former class president, Eric hated rowdy gatherings. Yet his velvety baritone soon rumbled through my speaker. Wait for me. I'll go with you. When we entered the neon-lit private room, every head turned. Omegas whispered excitedly. No Ethan yet, thank God. Luke already held court by the liquor, crowing. Told ya. Where Jay goes, Eric follows. Enjoy the eye candy. Ladies. Our rowdy crew erupted in laughter and wolf whistles. Eric settled beside me, unusually permitting my tequila shots. Normally he'd confiscate my drinks, but tonight felt different, maybe because of the nostalgic playlist blasting NSYNC, or how my fingers kept brushing his when reaching for lime wedges. 3 rounds later, We were howling off key to Backstreet Boys while Eric watched with that quiet half-smile. His knee pressed against mine beneath the table, warm and steady. The private booth felt stuffy. I noticed Eric had undone the top button of his shirt. He lounged casually with his arm draped over the sofa behind me, occasionally taking swigs from his beer bottle. Damn, I had to admit, my childhood friend was ridiculously handsome in that cold, sculpted way. Under the dim lighting, his profile looked like some priceless classical painting. Maybe it was the alcohol haze, but I found myself staring. Our thighs pressed tightly together, his body heat seeping through the fabric until my skin tingled. My glands started burning, head swimming feverishly. Ever since Eric marked me, this dependency kept spiraling. Right now, I wanted to crawl into his lap and kiss him until... Stop it, Jason. I nearly choked on my drink, coughing violently as whiskey burned my throat. Eric immediately sat upright, rubbing soothing circles on my back. His touch only made things worse. Panicking, I bolted to the restroom. I splashed icy water on my face at the sink. Get a grip, Jason. He's your best friend. Water dripped from my dyed blue hair when a familiar voice spoke behind me. Jason. Long time. Ethan stood there smiling sweetly. We stared awkwardly in the hallway until Ethan finally said, "The blue hair suits you. Edgy." "Thanks," I mumbled, self-consciously ruffling it. Eric said the same. Ethan's smile faltered. He swallowed hard before blurting, "When I rejected you sophomore year, there was a reason. I've always liked you, Jason. Still do. But back then," he trembled as he circled behind me. "Your scent gland. Eric marked you? Shit. I'd used suppressant patches. Wait, how'd he know it was Eric? Everyone's talking about Eric being an enigma." Ethan rushed on, gripping my arm. "My sister works at the Secondary Gender Institute. Their research shows Enigma pheromones are addictive. They can manipulate your desires. What's that got to do with Eric?" I snapped. Ethan's distress pheromones flooded the air as he shook me. "Don't you get it? You're not choosing this. He's hijacking your biology." The peach scent I once loved now felt cloying and nauseating. My head spun as breaths turned ragged. "Eric." I desperately craved Eric's pheromones. Ethan kept rambling, worsening my migraine. "Jason, you should stay away from Eric. He's dangerous. His intentions aren't pure." His voice cut off abruptly when he noticed someone behind me. A familiar cedarwood aroma enveloped me as calloused fingers massaged my nape. Eric's low voice vibrated against my ear, chillingly calm. "Apologies. My J isn't feeling well." His arms tightened possessively. "I'm taking him home." This wasn't normal rut. Feverish and disoriented. I barely registered being carried into Eric's car and bedroom. Clutching his collar tearfully, I begged, "Pheromones. I need yours." Eric loomed above, thumb circling my scent gland. His controlled expression betrayed stormy emotions. "J." An alpha marked by an enigma enters heat, like cycles. His cedar essence coiled around my iris fragrance like forbidden temptation. Just a kiss grants relief. I awoke to birdsong in Eric's bed, memories flooding back. Clinging to him, that desperate kiss. Slapping my own face. Cursed. Holy shit. I fucking kissed my bro? Finding the empty living room, I scarfed down breakfast while posting anonymously. Panicking. College guy accidentally kissed childhood friend? A DM popped up, details. How exactly was it an accident? After my explanation, the reply came. You realize he planned this? Normal people use temporary marks. Not Frenching. Your bro wants to rail you. Bullshit. This challenged 2 decades of friendship. Unless, had Eric always looked at me like I was his? I couldn't take it anymore. My fingers flew across the keyboard as I listed every interaction between me and Eric over the years. How he'd patiently pick spring onions out of my ramen. How he never missed a single one of my basketball games. How he'd immediately book the first flight back from overseas business trips whenever I said I missed him. How all his passwords were my birthday, with my photo as his phone wallpaper. Before I could finish, the commenter abruptly disconnected. Enough. Am I just some pathetic internet stranger here to be part of your little love story? Dude, if this isn't bragging, let me drop some truth. Only the cherished one in a relationship would mistake this for just friendship. The grayed-out avatar left me stunned. Cherished one? For the first time, I questioned what Eric truly meant to me. Was he the brother I relied on? My closest confidant? The most important person in my life? But what did Eric think? My pulse quickened as last night's memories resurfaced. His heated breath against my ear, crushing embrace, and those dark eyes holding unreadable emotions. Some terrifying realization bubbled beneath my consciousness. No, this was too complicated. Childhood friends stayed childhood friends. Period. I rubbed my face, suddenly hyper-aware of wearing Eric's pajamas, sleeves and pant legs meticulously rolled up despite being 2 sizes too big. The lingering fur scent made my cheeks burn. I needed to change immediately. Rummaging through the walk-in closet of Eric's luxury condo near campus, my frequent crash pad, my hand brushed against a yellow journal. Since when did Eric keep a diary? Curiosity overpowering guilt. I flipped it open. Brothers shared everything anyway. Early entries seemed normal. Jason lost the game today. Bought him ice cream, smile restored. Presented as alpha. Jason's scent is iris. Perfect. Jason keeps staring at Ethan. An omega in front of him. Annoying. Then the handwriting grew jagged. Stay away from Jason. Take the money or get expelled. Jason got drunk. Kept biting his neck but couldn't mark him. You're so clueless. Jason. Do you know what I do every night? Losing control. Want to hide you. Want to make you cry. The final page screamed in ink-blotted frenzy. Jason, I'm going crazy loving you. I fled, leaving the journal sprawled on marble floors. My phone buzzed violently, 27 missed calls from Eric. I knew he had noticed something was off. Too scared to confront it, I chose to freeze him out instead. My mind was a tangled mess. I desperately needed to talk to someone, anyone. That's why when Ethan texted asking to meet up, I agreed. He picked a quiet lounge bar for our meeting. Restlessly swirling my drink, I blurted out, Ethan, when did you first sense something was wrong with him? The blonde omega sighed, taking a delicate sip of his cocktail. It's been obvious for months. Someone as aloof as Eric shouldn't have his gaze constantly following you around. His expression turned serious. Jason, you need to stay away from Eric. That guy's bad news. I stiffened. Don't talk about him like that. Ethan set down his glass with a clink. After everything that's happened, you're still defending him? Honestly, what exactly do you feel for Eric? His piercing blue eyes locked onto mine. Jay, are you in love with him? The question hit like a physical blow. Thump, 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 thump. My pulse roared in my ears as I grabbed my whiskey and downed it in one gulp. The burn spread through my chest, blurring my thoughts. I don't know, I mumbled, pressing palms to my temples. What had I really felt when discovering that journal? Fear. Yes, but not of Eric. I'd been terrified of whatever was stirring in my chest. Some forbidden emotion threatening to break through. If I was honest with myself, there'd always been this undefined tension with Eric. For years I'd buried it deep, until he shattered our fragile equilibrium. Now I had to confront these messy feelings head-on, and it was excruciating. The cloying scent of peaches suddenly overwhelmed me. Ethan was releasing pheromones, his face inches from mine. If you're uncertain, why not try being with me instead? His whisper curled around me like smoke. You might prefer how an omega makes you feel. No, this was all wrong. My skin crawled even as my head swam. I didn't want peaches. I craved crisp alpine air and cedarwood, the scent that meant Eric. Wait, cedarwood? I shoved Ethan away just as his lips brushed mine. Heart hammering, I looked toward the entrance and froze. Eric stood silhouetted in the doorway, his stormy gaze burning into us. The bitter twist of his lips shattered me before he vanished into the night. Eric, I choked out, bolting after him. The crowded streets swallowed his tall frame whole. I pushed through throngs of tourists, lungs burning, but he'd disappeared like smoke. In that moment of loss, realization detonated in my chest. I loved him. All the confusion, the half-formed yearnings, they crystallized into absolute certainty. But as the cold truth settled in, so did the crushing awareness. I might be too late. We might not even be able to stay friends. Stumbling away from the crowd, I ducked into a hidden alley. Sliding down the graffiti-covered brick wall, I buried my face in my arms. My heart ached so badly that even my fingertips were tingling numb. Only then did I realize what Ethan and I had in high school was just kid stuff. Real heartbreak makes every breath feel like swallowing glass. Fat tears plopped onto my ripped jeans. Fuck, this is so damn embarrassing. An alpha crying in some alley over a breakup. Eric found me like that, a sniveling mess clutching my knees. He sank down and pulled me into his arms without hesitation. Jay, he sighed, lips brushing my temple. I'm the one who should be crying, yet here you are stealing my spotlight. I looked up through bleary eyes, then immediately dissolved into louder sobs upon recognizing him. Go away. Why won't you just leave me alone? His thumb caught another tear rolling down my cheek. Leave? And let some drunk crybaby wander off? Never. The vodka courage made me blurt. Eric, can we at least stay friends? His fingers stilled in my hair. Moonlight caught the exhaustion in his smile. Jay, loving you already takes everything I've got. Every damn day. His voice cracked. I fight myself not to pin you against walls, not to make those filthy diary entries come alive. Because I want you wild and happy. The alpha who chases sunsets, not some caged omega. His knuckles whitened against brick. So tell me, Jay, how could we ever just be friends? That familiar panic clawed my throat. The same terror I felt years ago when he waved goodbye under blood-orange skies. Screw regrets. Before he could move, I fisted his collar and crashed our lips together. Boyfriends count as friends too. I growled against his mouth. Biggest mistake ever. 3 days later, I'm biting my pillow as Eric's teeth sink into my scent gland again. You liar. I kick weakly at the alpha currently wrecking my hips. Said one mark. He nuzzles the fresh bite, pupils blown black with rut madness. Last one. Sweetheart. Promise. Our relationship went viral thanks to some creep shot. There we were on campus walkway. Student council president Eric gripping blue-haired Jason's waist like claiming territory. The forum imploded within minutes. OMFG, that blue hair? It's Jay from basketball team. Since when? 2EA hotties dating? Save some genes for us omegas. How'd Eric tame campus wildest alpha? Deets. Childhood friends ship sailing. That death glare though. Jay's gonna be walking funny tomorrow. Eric's possessive grip? Oh, the post went insanely viral, blowing up my social media notifications. I stared at the endless sea of rose emojis and 99 red heart spam across group chats, my scalp prickling with embarrassment. Still don't want to go public? Eric murmured, brushing strands of hair from my face. I could ask the mods to delete it. We both knew he'd never actually do it. Since becoming official, he'd been posting 3 Instagram stories daily, each casually featuring strands of my blue hair beside captions like my boyfriend's new look, smiling face with hard eyes. He'd glue himself to me in public, deliberately leaving his pheromones all over me. During last week's basketball tournament, opponents literally stopped the game to yell about our sickening PDA tactics. My original hesitation about going public was to avoid drama. Guess that ship has sailed. After hyperventilating for 20 minutes, I dialed Mom, currently touring Parisian jewelers with Mrs. Johnson. We all thought you'd been dating since high school? She blurted, sounding genuinely confused. Before I could process that bombshell, her voice skyrocketed. Are you using protection? Male alphas can get pregnant too. You know, I hung up so fast the phone sparked. Eric's laughter rumbled against my back as his palm slid beneath my shirt. How many tries does it take? His teeth grazed my earlobe. To put a baby in me? The throw pillow I hurled at him barely muffled his snort. We ended up tangled in bedsheets anyway, trading kisses that tasted like forever. Half asleep, I felt his lips move against my collarbone. Love you to death. Yeah. Me too. Always.